It's funny. Every cleanup I've ever done starts the same way. A new client calls, and before I can even open QuickBooks, they whisper the same line, "Please don't judge me." And I smile because that's how I know we're about to find monsters.
Ah, yes, the creatures of chaos. They thrive in the shadows of avoidance.
You know they do. This season we met them all. Feedy, Miscellaneous, Reconciliation, Ask My Accountant. Each one a reflection of real habits we all fall into. As much as I love helping people fix their books, I realized something over the years. QuickBooks doesn't create monsters, it reveals them. Those little gremlins hiding in the ledger aren't just data entry mistakes, they're patterns. Feedy's the one that shows up when automation replaces attention. Miscellaneous pops up when you're too busy to care where a transaction really belongs. And reconciliation, well, that one's your conscience. The part of you that knows that things don't quite match up, but you'd rather not face it just yet.
A denial by any other name still fails to balance.
Couldn't have said it better. After 20 plus years as a certified QuickBooks Pro advisor, I can tell you, everyone has monsters, even good business owners. The difference isn't whether they exist, it's whether you face them. That's really what this whole season was about. Not just surviving QuickBooks, but understanding that those messy ledgers, uncategorized expenses, and missing reconciliations are just clues. Breadcrumbs leading you back to better habits. When I sit down with a client and we open that first screen together, I can see it in their face. The overwhelm, the guilt, sometimes the embarrassment. And I always tell them the same thing. You're not broken, your process is. Once we name monster, it loses its power.
To name the error is to summon the courage to correct it.
That's the magic. Not a spreadsheet spell or a fancy formula. Just the willingness to look honestly at what's really there. And I'll be honest, I've seen some legendary chaos in my time. Bank feeds that haven't synced in 6 months. Transactions that look like they've been through witness protection. Entire years listed under Ask My Accountant as if the poor soul is some kind of accounting superhero. But I don't laugh at it, not in judgment anyway. I laugh with people, because I've been there too. I stared at the same messy screens, the same red error bars, wondering what in the world I just did. That's why this show exists, to prove that bookkeeping doesn't have to be scary, and that sometimes laughter is the best reconciliation tool you've got. When we started the QuickBooks Wizard podcast, the goal wasn't to teach accounting, it was to make it human. To show that small business owners don't fail because they can't do math. They struggle because no one ever taught them how to read what their numbers are trying to say. QuickBooks isn't about counting money, it's about learning your story.
Indeed. The ledger is not the business. It is the mirror of the business.
You're right. And monsters, they're not enemies. They're messengers. Feedy says, you're moving too fast. Miscellaneous says, you're avoiding decisions. Reconciliation says, slow down and connect the dots. Every problem in QuickBooks tells you something about how you run your business and how you handle your stress.
A balanced account begins with a balanced owner.
You're on a roll today.
It's fiscal year end. Inspiration is deductible.
This season we faced every monster head on, and if you've been listening since the start, maybe you did too. Maybe you renamed Miscellaneous to Needs Review. Maybe you reconciled your first month without sweating through your shirt. Or maybe for the first time you just opened QuickBooks without fear. If that's you, then this season did its job. So today, as we start the finale, I want to say thank you. Not for listening, but for doing. For showing up. For learning. For letting me and my monsters be part of your journey. Because at the end of the day, the chaos isn't a curse, it's a classroom. And the monsters, they're just the teachers we didn't know we needed.
Then the semester, my friend, is nearly complete.
Yeah, and I think we both passed. Every monster tells a story. Feedy wasn't just about bank feeds, he was about impatience. Miscellaneous wasn't confusion, he was avoidance. And reconciliation, that one was my favorite because it wasn't about matching numbers, it was about matching truth.
Indeed, a ledger may hide mistakes, but it cannot conceal habits.
Yep, and after cleaning out more QuickBooks files than I can count, I can tell you the numbers always tell on us. They show the story behind the story. When you see a file with 5 different office supplies accounts, that's not bad bookkeeping, that's decision fatigue. When you see Ask My Accountant with 200 transactions, that's not laziness, that's fear. And when every account's off by $1.37, that's someone trying too hard to make it look right instead of it being right. One of the biggest lessons I've learned, both as a certified QuickBooks Pro advisor and as someone who's helped people untangle their financial chaos, is that bookkeeping doesn't teach you about money first, it teaches you about you. How you think under stress, how you handle uncertainty, how honest you're willing to be when no one's watching. Because QuickBooks, it's honest, painfully honest. It doesn't care how creative your spreadsheet titles are. It's going to show you exactly what's wrong line by line.
The software is impartial, but the user is wonderfully human.
That's one way to put it. And that's what this whole season has been. An exercise in seeing yourself through your books and learning to laugh instead of hide. When I train new business owners, I tell them, your books are a mirror, not a report card. You're not being graded, you're being guided. And if you look close enough, you'll start to see patterns that go far beyond money. If you avoid your reconciliations, maybe you're avoiding hard conversations elsewhere. If you keep over-categorizing, maybe you're trying too hard to control too much. And if you've got a big, messy, uncategorized expense account, well, maybe you just need to admit that you can't fix everything at once. The goal isn't to have perfect books. It's to understand the story they're telling and to start rewriting it.
For every imbalance, there is insight, if one dares to look closely enough.
I know. Every mistake is a breadcrumb, and if you follow it, it'll lead you to something that can actually make your business better. You know what's funny? The deeper I go into QuickBooks, the more I realize it's not about accounting, it's about growth. I've seen it in hundreds of clients. The moment someone faces their books, everything changes. They start asking better questions. They start seeing the connection between their daily choices and their long-term goals. And most importantly, they stop beating themselves up.
The reconciliation of grace, where understanding replaces shame.
I like that one. That might make the closing line next season. Here's what I've learned. The more you face your books, the less scary they become. You start to realize the reconciliation isn't about numbers, it's about closure. It's about saying, I've looked at this, I've learned from it, and I'm ready to move on. You can't heal what you won't face, and that's true in QuickBooks, in business, and in life. So whether you're listening from your office, your truck, or your kitchen table, take this to heart. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be present. QuickBooks rewards consistency, not brilliance. Small daily steps beat the occasional panic sprint every single time.
Even a single reconciled month is a victory worthy of song.
And maybe a cookie.
2, if they are deductible.
This season has been full of lessons, not just about bank feeds and balances, but about patience, honesty, and learning to laugh at what we used to fear. Because at the end of the day, every messy ledger can be cleaned, every error can be corrected, and every small business can find peace one transaction at a time.
Then let the lesson be clear. Monsters are but teachers wearing masks.
Amen to that. Now let's talk about grace, because no matter how many times we balance the books, we still need a little bit of that too. If bookkeeping teaches you one thing, it's that grace matters, not just for your clients, but for yourself. Because no matter how many years you've been at this, no matter how skilled, how experienced, how certified, there's always that one day when everything feels off. When the numbers won't match, the feed won't sync, and your patience is filed for bankruptcy. And in that moment, you realize grace isn't optional, it's survival.
Even the finest accountant must reconcile with imperfection.
That's the truth. I used to think being the QuickBooks wizard meant I had to have all the answers. That if something went wrong, it was on me to fix it instantly without showing frustration. But that's not grace, that's pressure, and it's exhausting. Somewhere along the way, I realized that what people really need, what I really need, isn't perfection, it's permission. Permission to learn, permission to get it wrong, permission to be human while running a business that sometimes feels anything but human.
A most radical concept. Humanity in accounting.
Don't tell the IRS. Here's what grace looks like in real life. You open QuickBooks and it's a mess. Your categories are a train wreck. Your bank feed is a dumpster fire. And instead of panicking or shutting it down, you just take a breath and start with one thing. One transaction. One match. One step toward order. That's grace. Not the absence of mistakes, but the willingness to move forward anyway. When I work with small business owners, they often think they're the only ones behind. They think everyone else has it together. And I always tell them, nobody does. We're all learning, even me. Especially me. Because the truth is, bookkeeping doesn't just reveal your finances, it reveals your faith. Not just in numbers or systems, but in the idea that what's broken can be made whole again. That a messy ledger can become a clean slate. That you can start over in business, in life, in everything, and still move forward.
Redemption is the greatest form of reconciliation.
Yeah, it really is. And maybe that's why I love what I do. Because behind every spreadsheet and balance sheet, there's a person, tired, overworked, maybe even ashamed of what their numbers say. But when we clean it up, when the fog clears, something happens. They start believing again. They start smiling again. And for me, that's not just a bookkeeping win, that's grace in motion.
Grace, unlike profit, cannot be measured, only experienced.
I'll still try to track it in a spreadsheet.
Of course you will.
But seriously, grace is the one thing you can't automate. You can code formulas, you can script tasks, you can build workflows, but you can't program compassion. That has to come from you. And that's what changes the game. When you start leading your business and yourself with grace, everything shifts. You stop fighting the numbers. You start listening to them. You stop seeing mistakes as failures and start seeing them as feedback. And maybe, just maybe, you stop defining yourself by how well you perform and start defining yourself by how well you recover. So if you're listening today and you've been hard on yourself, if you've been living in should've, would've, could've, take a deep breath. You're not behind, you're becoming. And every reconciled month, every improved habit, every act of patience, that's grace at work.
Then let the books reflect not only accuracy, but mercy.
Now that's a report I'd like to run. Coming up, we'll talk about what's next, because every ending leads to a new beginning, and the monsters, well, they're already rehearsing for season 2. It's Thursday morning, and we've made it to the end of season 1 of the QuickBooks Wizard podcast. If you've listened this far, you've survived bank feed chaos, stared down reconciliation, and endured Acquarelia's cash versus accrual debate, which still haunts me like an unapplied payment.
Her dialogues could outlast a reconciliation report on dial-up.
I know, but each one taught something. When I started this show, the goal was simple, to prove that bookkeeping is not a punishment. There's a story hidden in every set of books, a story of effort, courage, and small business survival. And now you know I'm not just some guy telling stories. I'm a certified QuickBooks Pro advisor who spent decades in the trenches with owners like you, turning panic into peace and chaos into clarity.
A scribe of spreadsheets and steadfast souls.
You say it like it's poetry. Now, a little truth for those wondering about the music you've been hearing this season. It's just production tunes. But next season, we're bringing in a band. Meet Feedy The Bank Feeds. Feedy on guitar, our green monster of mayhem. Reconciliation on drums, steady and unshakable. Bob on bass, keeping it honest. And the Wizard on keys and vocals, trying to make sense of the noise.
A quartet of financial frequencies.
The first track, Out of Sync Again, is already out there, as well as a few other songs. It's the soundtrack to every business owner who's ever looked at their bank feed and said, wait, what is that?
Before we close the ledger on this first season, I must extend my thanks, not in currency, but in gratitude. To all who've listened from near and far, from Dallas and Phoenix to Valparaiso and Caloocan City, to Pflugerville and Tampa, Wendell and Johnstown, and even our friends in Ottawa and Nightdale. Your time and your laughter keep this magic humming. Truly, the world has proven that bookkeeping humor knows no borders.
And that's one balance sheet I'll never reconcile. I never want to. Before we close, let me say thank you for tuning in every Thursday, for sharing, for laughing along with me through the madness. This isn't some big studio production. It's one guy with a vision and a very chatty AI co-host who never lets me forget to breathe.
You forget often.
True, and you keep me honest. If the show has helped you see your books or your business a little clearer, please take a moment to leave a review. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen. Those ratings and words really help other business owners find us.
A review is a ripple in the pond of progress.
And I read every one. So what's next? Season 2. New monsters, new music, new ways to make sense of the madness. We'll talk automation that actually helps, systems that make sense, and how to use QuickBooks without losing your mind or your Saturday.
And perhaps one ballad in 6/8 time.
We'll see. So as we close the books on Season 1, remember, you're not behind, you're building. Your mistakes aren't failures, they're feedback. And every step toward clarity counts.
Until next season, may your feeds sync smoothly, your clients pay promptly, and your books always balance.
That's the line. Thanks for listening, friends. I'm Brian Cogan, the QuickBooks Wizard, and I'll see you next season.
Yes, the mighty Feedy, chaotic as ever. Try not to weep.